them the opportunity to build up their capacity in the area of child protection while urging trainees to share the knowledge with junior officers. The director of the Department of Social Welfare also added her voice to the call for the increased role of the police in child protection issues. She acknowledged the interventions of the Gambia Police Force in protecting the plight of children at all times. The Capacity Building Forum for senior officers of the Gambia Police Force is anticipated to serve as a turning point in the response of law officers towards children issues, thereby creating a more responsive force and an environment that would promote the holistic development of children. Reporting for Grts News, I am Abdullah Baji.
The community of Bessa in the Fonyi Bedford district has a viable health center, a facility the community is determined to maintain through self-help initiatives. In what has become a familiar theme in the community, volunteers from the village recently embarked on a massive cleansing exercise to rid the health facility of scrub and waste. Ibrahim Ajata tells us more.
Treatment continues to be a challenge as communities increase efforts at remodeling the way they manage their environment. The people of Bessa in Fonyi Bedford are mapping out such strategies to ensure greater participation of residents in the proper upkeep of the community's health center. The vital health facility in the village was the scene of massive cleansing activities seeking to keep the environment clean and healthy.
The management of refuse is becoming a challenge. So coming over here to join these people is really a crusade, and we really appreciate their effort.
The initiative is a raft of self-help programs and events pioneered by the community of Bessa, and this particular event brought together scores of volunteers, much to the delight of health officials.
It was already in my mind to plant something here as the president's call back to the land, and that's the only way that I can respond to it. In fact, initially I had asked people to come and help me. In fact, I have started doing it myself, but so then they organized the Sesetal. And the Sesetal is not only important for that my farming, but it is also important in a lot of things, in prevention of diseases, particularly malaria. Right now we are in the rainy season, and if the environment is clean, there is no way that the mosquitoes can survive.
After completing the cleansing exercise, members of the community gathered to discuss issues confronting their community. Malayan Baji of the Village Health Committee commended the volunteers for the good turnout while emphasizing the importance of community-driven initiatives in the drive to develop their community. Several other speakers, including Mama Sirejaju, stressed the need for a cleaner environment. She urged people to keep their surroundings clean so as to reduce the spread of diseases. This area, according to the community, would be cultivated to raise funds to help in the upgrading of the health center. Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. In the southern Senegalese region of Casamance, MFDC rebels have released 9 hostages who were part of a bomb disposal squad operating in the province. The hostages were freed after 70 days in captivity. After a 30-year-long conflict, both sides are seeking a peace accord to end hostilities.
Back on June 11th, somewhere along the border between Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, we were able to meet with the 9 hostages detained by rebels from the Casamance Movement of Democratic Forces, the MFDC. 9 Senegalese bomb disposal experts kidnapped in Casamance, where they were operating. After 70 days in captivity, they have just been released. They were being held by this man, César Atout Badiat, the commander of the biggest armed faction within the movement, handed them over on Friday to the Guinean NGO Momkumom. The move was hailed by Amnesty International's Dakar branch. The group is calling on the Senegalese government to start a genuine dialogue with César Atout Badiat's rebel faction.
It's pressure from the outside. And most of all, the awareness of César Atout Badiat, who is not gaining anything for his image by keeping these hostages, which forced him to release them. So all is well that ends well. We are calling for demining operations to continue. The real demining in Casamance will take place with a peace accord to end the conflict.
After 30 years of conflict between Dakar and the separatist rebels, an agreement has been signed for demining operations to begin. This also helped release the hostages. The 9 men are reportedly on their way to Ziguinchor to unite with their families.
And thousands of Congolese are fleeing into Uganda following fierce battles between Uganda rebel factions and the Congolese army in Komango, located in the country's northern regions. The Red Cross has registered over 30,000 refugees, and rising numbers have pushed the humanitarian agency to vessel improvisation. We have details in the CFI report.
Thousands of Congolese are crossing the border into Uganda. They are fleeing from fighting between Ugandan rebels and the Congolese army in Komango in the north of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Over 30,000 Congolese refugees have been registered by the Red Cross. Due to the huge numbers, the aid organization had to set up improvised camps, like here in this elementary school in Bubandi, 2 kilometers from the border.
We came from Congo. Thieves came and stole our possessions. We left everything behind in Congo and came here empty-handed. We are suffering a lot from a lack of food. We're sleeping outside. We don't have anything.
Living conditions are very harsh for the refugees. There is not enough food or shelter for everyone.
We don't sleep at all well here in the rain when there are showers. The children have nothing to eat.
The food shortage is so severe that every day the refugees risk crossing back over the border to return to their homes despite the threat of kidnapping and attacks by rebels. This tension and the fear it causes is making the Congolese flee across the border, leaving behind empty villages like this one near the border crossing in Nobili.
It was a general panic. Everyone fled their homes until almost the entire village was empty.
Uganda sent military reinforcements to secure the border. The Ugandan rebels of the AFD Nalu are still in the region. They are hiding out in the Rwenzori mountains. They want to put pressure on the Congolese army and increase attacks on the surrounding villages.
A connecting bar that has come loose at a rail switch is being hyped as the cause of the train derailment in which 6 people died near Paris. And Pakistani teenage Malala Yousafzai has delivered her first public speech at the United Nations in New York following her recovery from gunshot wounds inflicted by the Taliban. For more on those and other stories, we turn to this CFI News Roundup.
A connecting bar that had come loose at a rail switch was the cause of the train derailment, which killed 6 people on Friday near Paris. The accident, which happened at a station south of the French capital, also left dozens injured when 4 carriages came off the tracks and crashed into the station platform. The railway company announced it was immediately ordering checks of some 5,000 similar joints on its network. The city of Kirkuk in northern Iraq was hit by a suicide attack on Friday. 38 people were killed when a suicide bomber blew himself up at a crowded cafe after the meal that breaks the fast during Ramadan. All cafes closed after the attack, which brought to 300 the number of people killed in Iraq in the past 30 days.
One book and one pen can change the world. Education is the only solution. Education first. Thank you.
A first public speech at the United Nations by Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani teenager who was shot in the head by a Taliban gunman in 2012 for her commitment to girls' education. She was given life-saving treatment in Britain, where she now lives. Malala, who was given a standing ovation at the UN, vowed not to be silenced by terrorists.
Pirang United FC are the winners of the Combo East District Tournament. The final that pitted the Pirang side against Faraba Kaira FC ended 3-2. Modo S. Jala watched the showdown, and this is his report.
Back from serving a 1-year suspension, Pirang Village Sunday defeated Faraba Kaira by 3-2 in a pulsating final to be crowned champions of the annual Combo East District Football Tournament. Pirang got off to the best of starts when Yankuba Jaju scored with less than 15 seconds on the clock. Faraba were caught on possession, and before they could realize anything, the ball was in the back of their net, making it perhaps the fastest goal in the history of the tournament. The early goal conceded prompted the Faraba coach to immediately substitute his first-choice goalkeeper